Good morning, folks. It's morning here in Spain. It might be morning where you are as well, or perhaps you're watching us on catch up. Welcome to another Thursday in the TEFL Development Hub, and I'm really excited about our session today. We've got Victor González joining us to chat about AI for language teachers, and he literally did write the book. I'll share a link to it in a minute. He's got a book on Amazon called Teaching Languages with ChatGPT, 75 activities with practical prompts. So it's sure to be a fascinating chat about AI, what it can offer us. And I know he's going to share some of his top tools with us as well today. So huge thanks to Victor for coming along to join us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for, having me here. So I'm very excited to start. So I'm going to start with my website. As you can see, my website is called xuc.org. And here you have different links whereby you can use. And I will start with it. And then I will, of course, talk about AI and the work that I've done with AI and language learning as well, including the book and my work with Cambridge University Press. So when you go to my website, xuc.org, okay, and you scroll down, okay, here the first thing that you can see is the Amazon author page, okay? I'm just gonna show it to you briefly. And here you have the book that we were referring to, Teaching Languages with ChatGPT. You have 75 prompts that you can use. It's divided into parts, into pronouns, adjectives, into idioms, and then how can you use the prompts in the classroom as well, in your language classroom. So the session is not about ChatGPT. You have the 75 prompts there, but the session is about the tools that you can use on AI on a regular basis. I'm going to show you 3 tools that I think they are great. And I'm going to show you a bit about my work. As you can see also, we just published the book for Cambridge International A's right now. And actually, when I was writing it, I was writing the chapter on AI, and I was writing that chapter, and that was a very fascinating, topic because it was that unit was part of the technology unit. And I was talking about, I will show it to you now. I was talking about this supercomputer. I'm going to open it so you can see my screen as well. This supercomputer in Barcelona, okay, which is the Mare Nostrum. I don't know if you know about this computer. And then this computer, when you go into the computer, you can, of course, visit it. I saw it this summer. And what this computer does, I'm just going to go into the computer, okay, if it lets me in, okay, then, you go in, and then you get into the computer, and you get inside, okay? And you can get inside the computer center, okay? And then here, okay? And you can visit it. But what's important in this computer, and for language teachers, okay, it's a massive computer, okay? The third biggest, most powerful computer in Europe. Okay, and what it does is that it has a project called the Maria Project, which is a collaboration between the Barcelona Supercomputer Center and the National Library of Spain. And it's trained on 135 billion words in Spanish and 9.7 trillion operations, elevating to the third language globally with open access AI models after English and Mandarin. What does it mean? Well, this is more than ChatGPT. This has been going on, for years. So the capabilities extend beyond communication. What happens here is that it interprets text for categorization, multiple choice questions, semantic correlations, and emotional nuances. So it encompasses as well all the Spanish dialects of the 20 Spanish-speaking countries. And it includes countries where the language is not official, like, for example, the United States, whereby there are 50 something million people that speak Spanish as well. And it also includes languages from the country, Catalan, Basque, Aranese, and Galician. So as you can see, this is a huge project. And if you're a language teacher, I encourage you to go and visit, this area, which is a beautiful area in Barcelona, but it will show you in this building from the 1940s, actually. And they will explain you the Maria project. Yeah. So this is from the macro. And now I'm going to go back to my website. Yeah. So after this, as we said, main website, xuc.org, language IT design. I've been, these are the presentations that I did in the past when you go here. And then here you have the digital box that is linked to my blog, okay? Now here, this is a WordPress website. You have different parts. And of course, today we're going to focus on this one. My past presentations, it's always about language and media. So I talk about apps, I talk about activities, generators, online comics and films as well. If I focus on IB, I talk about the different parts, how I tackle the IB within here. And here I create my own videos and how I create my videos and link them to YouTube. The workshops that I've done in the past, and then some student tasks. And these are films that I created during the pandemic for students, the Mondo films. Yeah. So this is one of the presentations that I did. I think it was in September. Yeah, it was at the beginning of September in Dresden for the Association of International Schools. And it was an hour presentation about creativity and AI. So when you go to my website here, you will find, and this is what I do, during my free time. Yeah, not all the time, I have to say. As you can see, the last one was in August. So I will, resume now in October to put up, more links. I look for the most interesting, let's say, AI programs so that teachers and students can use them. One of the things that I do is to find programs that are easy for teachers to use, because we don't want to faff around with, okay, how do I log in? How do you put this here? The minute you use these programs, the students will just go and use them. So you will not have to do anything. I mean, maybe one or two students will ask, well, how can I do this? How can I do that? But the important thing is that you give them the exact instructions, and then they just go for it, okay? You can use this as a reinforcement in your classroom, all these programs, or you can use them as a gimmick as well if you want, or you can put them in your curriculum. So the way you do it is your own choice. Also, you can create, I'm going to give you these three examples, but within these examples, you can always think, well, I can do something better, because it's about creativity. And actually AI is based on the, the creativity from the students, but also from the teacher. Sometimes teachers, they have this bright idea that you never thought about, and then they go like, oh, I know how, how I could use this one, right? So here, when you scroll down, you have different ones. You have dictation IO, you have slides AI, for example, another one. This is basically that you can create slides. I'm not going to go into this one. It's not one from the three ones, but with slides AI, we actually went on a field trip last month to Paris with the French teacher. And she said, well, could you make a presentation on the field trip? And I said, yeah. When do you want it? And she said, could it be tomorrow? Because we have the parents all together. Said, no problem, AI. And then what I did is give me the program. And then I just prompt the program in French. I prompt the program. And then I put, what we wanted to say, and then they created all the slides. One of the things that I saw on these programs is that right now they are not perfect, because you have like pictures that are not matching with the text and things like that, but you can tweak them and you have the whole structure. And this is actually like ChatGPT, that you have the structure, maybe it's not perfect, but you as a teacher, you are creating the content in the end. That's the main thing. So this really helped me to create that in one day. Then you have other, again, programs, SoundDraw, Cowie Recast, HeyGen, okay? And this is actually one of the ones that we're going to talk about, and many more. Photo Room, you know, Crayon, Break Notes, the way you want to do, Adobe Firefly. If you go into the Adobe Firefly, this is great. The Adobe ecosystem is a great area whereby you can really work as a teacher, and they're doing a lot of things with AI and creativity as well. So I am part of, you know, their, you know, system, and I'm Adobe educator, and I do work with them with presentations as well. But with Adobe, maybe this one is the only one that you really need to pay to get into this program. The rest, you can get the freebies and, you know, work around. But let's get to the nitty-gritty of it. So the first one that I'm going to show is, I'm going to look for it, is here, Perplexity. It's here already. So I don't know if you know Perplexity. Wait, if not, I'll find it. Like,
Exactly. I was going to ask you,
yeah,
because I mean, obviously you've got a huge list there of all these
yeah.
AI tools. What do you think it is that made ChatGPT suddenly seem like this big new thing? Because a lot of these tools have been around from before.
Yeah, I think because it started in November 2021, and then it was a text generator. So it was something that, well, this is amazing because it's creating this type of text, and I can create these papers and stories and dialogues and everything. So it was a huge thing. I think at that time everyone was like, whoa, but as you said, AI was there before, and some of the examples that I created during the pandemic were based on AI. So actually, yes, I mean, I think it was like, you know, like the one that sold the best, basically. Yeah. So you have, for example, this one I was going to talk about, Perplexity. And one of the things that I do it in different languages. Yeah. So I'm not going to use English now. So I'm going to use, and then I'm going to translate, is with Perplexity, you are in the classroom, and just imagine that you haven't prepared your classroom. So what do? That never happens, right? So you just go like, okay, I'm going to write, I am teaching French, and you go like, les activités. Daily routine, basically, yeah? And it gives you the answer. What is happening here? It's giving you all the vocabulary that you need in French. So to get up, to wash, to take a shower, to take a bath, to brush your teeth. But not only that, because you could do that with AI. You have here the list of vocabulary, activities as well on top of it. And they give you videos, okay, that I don't know if you can hear this, you will hear the sound.
Bonjour à tous.
Yeah, okay.
Aujourd'hui, nous allons voir la routine de Lu pour revoir les heures dans la conversation et les verbes de la vie quotidienne. Je me lève à 7h moins 20.
You see? So, as you can see, this gives you more than ChatGPT, because you're just asking the program, well, I need this, I need that. And then you have your PDF, you have your video, you have your activities. One of the things that I have to tell you is that it's not always perfect, because sometimes you just go like, well, I'm not looking for that activity, but instead of 4, you will get 2 or 3. But actually this one, you can use all of them. all of them because they're great. But of course, you can use 2 or 3 when you prompt it, when you're teaching the language. So this is a very, very good one for you to use instead of ChatGPT when you're in the classroom, because you're using the visual aid, you're using the text, you're using everything, and you just put it in there, or you make it yours. You just go like, well, I have more time. I'm going to create a document. I'm going to put the link to the video, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it's a great one for you to use. And I do use it a lot. This one, if I want to back it up with information in my classroom, because actually it's like having my blog here. Yeah. The blog that I showed you, but, on AI. So actually it's doing the job, because this is what I've been doing the past 10 years. And now the machine pretty much does it in seconds, but it is what it is. Yeah. The second one that I'm going to, any questions so far?
No, I'm amazed. I'm going to use that perplexity to help me learn German.
Right, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. And so
yeah,
obviously you typed in a prompt in French and it gave you the French results. Would it, for example, if I wanted to learn something in German, but I didn't know the name of the topic, could I say, for example, morning routines in German? And would it translate it?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It would do it. Yeah, I think it would. Yeah. I've never tried it, but you could try it. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right. Got my German learning.
Yeah, that's good.
Ready.
Yeah. Hey, Jen, that's a good one, because here is about avatars. Now, there is a part that is free. There is another part that you need to pay. So I'm going to find now the part that you, so with avatars, what you need to do, as you can see here, is to find your avatar. All this part is free. Yeah. Now you get the avatar here. And then what I'm going to do, you have a lot of avatars, 91 here. And what I do is, for example, I'm going to look for a female avatar. Okay. And I'm going to get in 4K, very in suit. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see, very stocky.
Welcome to the new era of video creation with HeyGen. Simply type your script to get started.
Right. So here you can edit it. Okay. So you can use another avatar. You can change the language and everything, or you can create the video. Okay. In order to download the video here, you would have all the video here for you to create. Okay. Then what happens here is that you can create different videos with different avatars. So it can be a dialogue between different people. Yeah. But then in that area, then you need to pay. Yeah. But you would make your own films. And it's not that expensive. And actually, for the language, classroom altogether, you can do it. I mean, it's great. Now, what happens here is that you have a little language, yeah? So we're not going to use English. We're going to use another language today, okay? We're going to use the language that I speak here, Catalan, yeah? You have the Spanish flag, but they speak Catalan, okay? Female, you have the filters. I'm going to get Joanna. And then what happens here, you can speak or you can text. I'm going to text the script and I'm going to write in Catalan and I'm going to translate. Okay, so let's see. Hello, I am Anna and I'm here because I like to talk. Yeah, I like to speak. Yeah, an easy one. And then, of course, you can copy and paste the text and tell the kids you can do it. So you can do this in the classroom. And then let's hear it. Oh, no, it's in, let me see, because it changed to Portuguese. Catalan, I don't know why.
Hola, em dic Anna i estic aquí perquè Emma agrada parlar.
Perquè Emma m'agrada parlar. Okay, so here is because the comma, I didn't put it right. So there's been a bit of confusion with the accent here. But if you put the comma in the right place, okay, not the way that I did it, then it takes, but it changed to Brazilian. So I don't know why. Never happened before. Must be the program. But as you can see, it's easy.
Hola, em dic Anna i estic aquí perquè m'agrada parlar.
Now it's fine, okay? So perfect Catalan, okay? And you can create your own dialogue and you can tell the kids, well, you're going to create a dialogue and you're going to try an avatar. And you're going to listen to the avatar. So this is something that I do in the classroom, but you can do different things. You can do, for example, your own videos. So actually, we were talking about this before, that all these programs were around even before the pandemic. Yeah. So if you go to, for example, let's see, here, as I said, you can do all the videos and stuff, but I'm going to show you now some of the videos that I created with Mondo Films, which is basically, it's one that I created, Mondo Hotel. So this one with AI, Hotel 5 Estrellas. So I created this video of the areas of the hotel. So Mondo Hotel 5 Estrellas, learn the parts and areas of a hotel. Mondo with Character Animator, that's a program. A new avatar presenting the hotel with video robot has been added. So the thing is that at that time, and still there, video robot, I downloaded the program. It was $35 to get it. And I got like, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 avatars with all the different languages. And that was during the pandemic. So I was doing all the videos for the kids so that it was more visual with linking them to Google Classroom. Yeah. So this was one of the examples. And of course, I tweaked it on YouTube a bit, not a lot of work because it was actually the same structure all the time. Yeah.
Hola chicos y chicas, hoy os voy a hablar del Hotel Las Delicias. Soy el director del hotel y tenemos muchas cosas. En nuestro hotel hay una sauna, una piscina climatizada, habitaciones con vistas al mar, parking privado, restaurante a la carta, habitaciones con ducha y bañera, calefacción central y aire acondicionado y posibilidad de media pensión o pensión completa. Tenemos habitaciones con cama doble y camas individuales y el desayuno siempre está incluido. Nuestro hotel está muy cerca del centro de la ciudad con tiendas, cines, restaurantes y supermercados.
So two things here with this video. First, this was an avatar, okay? An avatar. And with this avatar, I just wrote the text, used the Spanish voice because they were learning. And I was interested on the vocabulary that we were using in the classroom. And I was actually the IGCSE vocabulary. And since, I know, the vocabulary that they need to know for the IGCSE, I just wanted this to be just IGCSE. So I would write down the text and he would talk. So they would have to write down the words. And then after that, they would have to describe the hotel of their own dreams, for example, in their own words, or speak to me about the hotel as well. This is how I created this. And at that time, it's when, AI was not like, oh yeah, AI, but it was not a big deal. Yeah. So it was this program is only, this one video robot is only $35 and still working. So you can use 10, 12 avatars in a set, and you can change, the setting behind you, a hotel, a beach, whatever you want, like the mountains, whatever. Yeah. So this is an interesting one.
Interesting as well to see, like looking at that avatar and then the avatar that you showed us, how fast it's progressed.
Exactly.
As well.
Exactly. How fast? Because now we're talking about human avatars. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The other one. Yes, go ahead.
I have a question, and we've got a couple of questions as well
Yeah,
from
sure.
Mike. So at the moment, what I've noticed is you can, there are so many languages, and it sounds quite realistic when your avatar is speaking Spanish, you've written in Spanish. Do you think it will become possible for example, for it to be a Spanish person speaking English? Because obviously, thinking about language education, we want to be exposing our students to lots of different people speaking English. And if we're moving towards using AI and all we've got is kind of American English voices, English voices, South African English voices, whether we're kind of almost taking a step back and not exposing them to, for example, a Polish person speaking English or a Spanish person speaking English?
With with an accent, like, for example, the Spanish person speaking English with a strong accent and everything. I think you can do it, actually. You can put a Spanish person and then write down the text in English, and then you will have kind of that type of accent. I think it's not perfect, to be honest, because I've tried it, and sometimes it's like, well, not even a person who's not native in English would say that word in that way. But I think it's something that the program does have right now. Yeah, in a very, imperfect way. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Okay. Should I continue with the third one? Yeah.
Yep. And then I'll ask Mike's questions.
Yeah. All right. This is a very interesting one. If you want to learn, for example, German. So, for example, I don't know, you go like wie geht's dir, okay? Because this is the program. Geht es dir gut, okay? Ja, ich komme aus Barcelona. Yeah, I come from Barcelona. Barcelona ist eine schöne Stadt. Was machst du dir dort so gut? So, what do you do there? Okay, in the town, no? So you can actually talk to the program in a very nice way, and this one is focused on a dialogue with the machine. You can do it with ChatGPT, but I think this one is much more precise. I'm going to give you an example here. Like, for example, let's say I'm going to put it in now Italian. I'm learning Italian, so I'm going to put it in Italian. Che genere di pane? That means what type of bread is there? Yeah. Let's see. Now he's speaking in German. That's the thing that it does, this program. So you really need to start with the prompt. Yeah. So you just go like, che genere di pane? Yeah. Look at this. Even for your classroom. So you go like, what type of bread is there? And it goes like, well, the bread is blah, 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 blah. Now, di farina di milletto, le pane di farina di miglio, le pane di farina di avena. So you have all the types of bread in here with all the vocabulary. So it's not only with the dialogue, but also if you want to really grasp and get a lot of information about, one subject that is very specific, and then you will find this in here, which is great, So it's really good for you to learn the language, and of course to talk, not to talk, but to type. But in the end, we will be talking to avatars to learn the language. This is one of the things that we're moving forward as well. Yeah. So just to wrap up here, the language box, AI, you will find new programs. I will be posting the programs now more regularly because I had a couple of presentations. I do give presentations, online presentations, and workshops online for schools that expand more than half an hour. And it's not only about creativity, but also about copyright. And it's about the way we can tackle plagiarism as well. But of course, I do not only focus on AI. I focus on the use of apps and generators, comics and films. I did a lot of comics and films on how to use comics and films in the classroom in a creative way, in a free way. Most of the programs here are free for you to use, but what I do when I give these presentations is basically I focus on the creativity of the teacher, and we also share knowledge, because sometimes teachers come up with better ideas in the classroom when they see these type of programs. Yeah. So yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm hooked. I'm going to use it just to learn German, never mind teaching other people English.
Go ahead.
So we had a couple of questions from Mike. So you mentioned kind of at the moment a lot of it is text. Mike asks, how could I use AI to help teach pronunciation?
Well, one of the things that you can use is, for example, with the avatars. So it's one of the things that you can prompt the avatar to speak, and you click on play, and it will talk to you. So you can tell the kids, well, write down the text, and then you can hear that the avatar in American English, and then they can listen to American English. You want South African, you want Spanish from Latin America, you can use it as well. I think Dictation.io has this option as well. They can write down the text, and then they can play on it, and they can listen to it. So it's also, if you go to Google Translate, they do it. So you just go, like, sometimes it happens to me in Italian that I don't know that word, how to pronounce it, because I see it written, and then I try to listen to it, and I put it on Google Translate as well.
Awesome. And this might be a bit of a bigger question, and maybe we can direct him back to your book. Which prompts do you consider to be the most important for teaching languages?
I mean, that's, as I said, it's a very good question, but it's a very personal question, to be honest. I mean, I wrote the book with all types of prompts that you can use, but it depends on what you teach. So, for example, let's say that you're teaching, well, going back to the daily routine, then you just go like, well, I'm going to teach the daily routine here, so I'm going to prompt the daily routine, and then I'm going to teach it in the classroom. So it's basically what you're teaching in there. All the questions that you have in your mind within the classroom set, you just go, I'm going to prompt it. So actually, I would just go for what you're teaching. Of course, my prompts are very general, but very focused on the language. So, for example, how to teach pronouns. You will find there some ideas on how to prompt and create, for example, two or three activities that the students can use. And then that helps them. And then it will prompt on ChatGPT those activities. And then the students will go and do them. Yeah, that's how I do it.
Awesome. I mean, a rough estimate, how many AI tools do you reckon you've kind of reviewed on your website?
Well, I think there is, well, I don't know, roughly, like I would say 100 or 100 and something. I was this summer looking into it. Yeah. I mean, of course, near the beach and things like that. So it was not, that was not my life. But if you do a bit every day, it's not, it doesn't look like, and it's kind of a hobby. So yes, I did that. But I will continue because it's changing. And what I do is I look into it, and then I can see whether that one is good for language teachers or not, whether that one is free or not. I tend to put everything that is free here. If it's a freebie, we're going to use it. If it's something free and then you need to pay, I use it. But if it's like everything that you have to log in and, all these difficulties, I just don't use it because I don't, I use it for myself sometimes. If I want to pay for it, but never here. You will find things that are easy to use.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I mean, you talk about it being a hobby, and I'm sure for some people it will be, but it's also kind of, you end up going down rabbit holes once you start with these things because they're just so exciting. So Victor, thank you so much for coming along and kind of getting us started with AI for language teachers. There's so much out there to discover. Victor's in the group, so if anybody else is watching on Catch Up and another question pops up, feel free to tag me or tag him, and we'll get back to you if we can. And yeah, let us know how you get on with AI and what kind of prompts and activities you come up with.
Exactly. And be creative. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks again, Victor, for coming along, and have a great day.
Yeah.